Coach, last week you talked about the good week of practice your team had headed to Northwestern. How this week, can you compare the practice weeks, and has that success in the practice field continued this week in preps for Maryland?
Again, the way we're going about it, I think is really, really strong. And even though you look at the last 2 weeks now, for whatever reason, we haven't gotten off to a good start in the first quarter. And we spotted 17-0 and 21-3 leads, but the remaining 3 quarters, the other 6 quarters, is really good football. And I think it's a sign, again, there's been a lot of good practice. We got to get a better start. We got to finish strong, but we've had another good week of practice, and we need it because Maryland's playing really good.
How do you go about talking to your players about avoiding that type of slow start that you've had the last few weeks?
Sometimes maybe not talking about it because you can make it worse. I mean, what's happened's happened. It's what's going forward. But one of our, we always talk, since we've been here, a couple goals of games and practice and life is start fast and finish strong. So the start fast doesn't ensure it. You got to finish. We've been finishing, but we got to start better. So we need to put it together, and to win football games, to win Big Ten games, to beat a good team that's playing really good, you got to play 4 quarters. So we need to play better from the start to the finish this week.
Coach, talk to us a little bit about some of the younger guys that have gotten a lot of time these first 7 games, and how do you continue with their progression as they play just more D1 football this year, some of the freshmen, than they played in years past?
Yeah, well, and again, those guys, again, I think the way we're practicing is really good, and they understand what's going on. I think we also have a format of practice where, for example, yesterday I had a scatter stand. You guys are doing more fundamentals than a lot of people late in the end of the year. But because we do a lot of things in recovery and our timing, I think it keeps our guys fresh. Those freshmen need the fundamentals. That's why Sean Riggins is playing well. Marcelino Ball is playing as good as anyone in the country as a freshman. And then Coy Crunk playing left tackle. And you've got a guy on the island in the corner. In our defense, that Husky position is so critical. And you got left tackle. Not only do we have 3 freshmen are starting, they're playing critical spots and they're playing good football. I'm proud of them.
Coach, talk to us about how Dan Feeney, obviously first game time since his injury last week against Northwestern, but have you seen him progress this week?
You know, he was out, and the way that injury goes, it's almost like you get removed from work and you're almost a bystander or not here. He had last week was not only getting back into the practice flow, but getting into playing. But the practice is more important to me than how you play in a game, because if you practice well, this week he's practicing like Dan used to practice. He's hard, he's into it, he's confident. Some has probably a little bit of knocking the rust out, and probably some has some confidence in himself, and he's good. He had a solid game. By his standards, he'd say he should play better. I'm sure he will, but I think he played about like you would expect, and it was good. He's had a great week of practice. He ran and practiced as hard as anybody down our field. That's the way Dan Feeney always practiced, so he's kind of back.
Coach, finally, looking ahead to Maryland coming into town, what's the big key for your team, not only to get off to that good start, but to get back in the win column this week? Well,
they're playing a lot of freshmen. They got a new coach in town. They got a lot of energy there. They're not giving up big plays, aggressive on D and challenging. Offensively, a great running game with a couple dynamic backs. Their quarterback is a veteran and tough and a winner. They're kicking it good. Again, they're sitting at 5-2. And they're playing. You just watch the energy and the way they played last week against Michigan State. So we're going to have at home a great crowd. We're going to need to play well. Looking forward to it. But it's going to be a challenge. But I think our kids are up to it. And it's not going to be easy. But I'm looking to see our kids compete for 60 and see if that's good enough for the result that we want.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.